Hello guys, Sir Grandalot here. With Primogems being a very scarce resource in Genshin Impact, using them correctly to pull for a highly desired character over others can sometimes be very difficult. We can fall in love with a character's lore, the design, the animations, the voice acting, the playstyle. There's a lot of stuff going on. When it comes to evaluating characters in terms of gameplay, I try to consider three main factors to decide whether I want to pull or do a skip Rerun. The kit in a vacuum, team fit and versatility. These three factors are very often interconnected, and when a character gives me a good overall vibe, it's likely going to be a character that I want to pull for and build. The kit in a vacuum refers to the kit of a character itself without considering any sort of team synergy. Some characters like Cookie feel almost pointless to play by themselves because her healing is not particularly good, she does not provide any damage, and she only becomes very good when danger is involved. While a well-built Ganyu can usually solve the 12th floor of the Abyss. Team fit indicates the value of a character once slotted in some specific teams. They can be teams that already exist and the new character takes the role of a previous one, like Kazuha replacing Sakroz, or they can be completely brand new teams that a character enables by being the carry or covering a very crucial support role. Versatility, I believe, is pretty self-explanatory. Is this character good, but only at one thing? Can you play him very often or only some specific situations? Can she fit in many teams, or are you forced to run the same team comp over and over and over again? Based on this introduction, how would I rate Yelan now that we are approaching her rerun? Her kit in a vacuum is a Shinchu on steroids, giving up some defensive utility in favor of mobility and extra damage. Everyone who has played Genshin Impact knows how good our Eologies of Rainstorms is, so that's a good start. Before her release, some people thought that she was an easy skip because what's the point in pulling for her when you already have Shinchu? Well, it turned out that having a Shinchu on each side of the Abyss is pretty good, and that combining them together results in so much single target and high replication that you can build many good teams around them. If you have been following my channel for a while, you may have already seen me clear the Abyss using Chi-Chi as the driver for Shinchu and Yelan, with the last character usually being Fischl or Beidou, depending on what enemies we have to face. It's fair to say Yelan is a great team player. How is her versatility though? Not only can she fit well in a lot of different Abyss teams, she's also one of the most valuable characters in the open world, which is honestly where we probably spend 95% of our game time, thanks to her mobility and her off-field damage. A minor thing that is often not mentioned when talking about Yelan is that the kit allows her to throw a single charged arrow that applies Hydro in an AoE and requires essentially no charging time. And a lot of open world encounters becomes very easy to handle when the fight starts and all the enemies have Hydro applied to them. In addition to all the stuff I already mentioned, she's also a very free-to-play friendly character. The fact that she scales exclusively of hit points means that the weapon you give her doesn't matter too much. Favonius' bow has been a favorite for many for a long time, and if you really have an elegy, then Yelan is going to perform extremely well with that. While her signature bow is widely considered one of the top performers in the game right now, it's far from being a must-have for Yelan. Her best artifact set is Emblem of Severed Fate, a set that you want to farm for plenty of characters anyway and comes from a fairly resin-efficient domain. In alternative, you could run 2 pieces Emblem, 2 pieces Heart of Death, 2 pieces Tenacity of the Millelith in any combination depending on what you have available, and she will be performing very well regardless. Yelan cares a lot about hit point percentage. Many artifacts that would look like trash for many other characters can be absolutely busted for her, so that's another win. Needless to say, I consider Yelan to be one of the best characters in the game right now. She's one of the safest pulls with the current roster of characters, and I believe she will be relevant for a very long time. I'm expecting Fontaine's core mechanics to be centered around normal attacks, offering great synergy potential to someone like Yelan. Even if my prediction ends up being wrong, there is nothing in the game that will make you regret pulling for Yelan. Her only weak aspect is the lack of AoE damage. The only way in which I see a Yelan 2.0 to be relevant is if a new character provided much better AoE damage at the cost of lower single target damage. But the Abyss is always filled with bosses and tanky enemies, so you will always have a chance to go back to Yelan and unleash a nasty vape team, some Hyperbloom stuff, or my well-tested Chi-Chi national team. With Yelan being a safe pull, the next question to answer is Constellation 1 versus Signature Weapon. I would personally go for Constellation 1 unless you really want Homa for Hu Tao. If you ignore Homa for a moment and pretend that the weapon banner is Aqua plus the donut, Yelan's Constellation 1 gives her a lot of extra particles, provides more mobility in the open world, and her elemental skill hits very hard. It's a lot of value for a single constellation. Aqua gives her better numbers, but they're not really necessary. The fact that Homa plus Aqua is a very tempting banner cannot be denied, though. They're both among the best weapons for all spear and bow users in the game, but I would still suggest to go for Constellation 1, then challenge the RNG gods on the weapon banner to see what happens. Pulling on the weapon banner sometimes feels great, and sometimes it sends people to the Shadow Realm, so use your primogens wisely. I believe I've been shilling for Yelan long enough for now. She's a fantastic character and will be an extremely valuable addition to your roster of characters. Sir Grindalot will be checking out. Bye guys and take care.